everyone, I'm Cameron, also known as Cam. And just to change up the vibe on our YouTube channel, I'm going to be making biscuits today, and I think Cooper's upstairs doing homework, so it's just gonna be me today, but let's get started. Okay, so the things that you will need, and I know that a lot of people aren't able to get like eggs and all of those things that we usually have to cook in the kitchen. But these ingredients, the only thing that you might not be able to get is maybe the baking powder and flour. But I live in New Jersey, so I mean, it's not as bad as New York, but it is pretty bad. But we are very lucky to have all of the ingredients that we have. But so you're going to need flour, sugar, milk, baking soda, unsalted butter, and salt. Those are the only ingredients that you need. And you might want a little bit of salted butter just to put it on top of the biscuits once they're done. So, but the first and most important step is to wash your hands. So I'm gonna wash my hands super duper quick. Okay, I just finished washing my hands, and I got the rest of the stuff like a bowl and all of that. So, I usually have to double the recipe because, so I use a small cup to cut out the biscuits, so I usually get more than normal, but they go by very quick since they are very small. So I usually do 4 cups of flour instead of 2. So I think I'm gonna do 4 today. So 4 cups of flour, and it doesn't really have to be exact. It just has to be, pretty close, like 1, 2, 3, last one, and 4. Okay, so then after you do the flour, you can use baking soda or baking powder, but in the beginning when I used baking soda, it wasn't as fluffy, but it was super flaky. But I like them a little fluffy on the inside and flaky on the outside, so now I use baking powder, but you just, for baking soda, if it was like 1/3 of a tablespoon, you would do a tablespoon, kind of like that. So I'm gonna do a tablespoon of baking powder, but if it's baking soda, you do 1/3 of a tablespoon. And you don't want to contaminate the whole thing, so I usually dump it in like this. It's gonna have to get out. Okay. So after that, you are going to put in a tablespoon of sugar. And when I first found the recipe, we changed it up a little bit, but I used like granulated sugar, but you can use any sugars. But I made one that had like cinnamon around it. So I put a little bit more sugar in them just to make them sweeter on the inside instead of like salty and sweet on the outside, So, and then after the sugar, you're gonna do 1 teaspoon of salt. So you can use any salt, it doesn't really matter. And you can really put in as much as you want. Like if you're making salty ones, put in a lot of salt. Not a lot, just more than usual. So 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay. And then you are going to mix together all of the dry ingredients with really anything. I usually use a wooden spoon, but today the wooden spoon's dirty, so I'm just going to use this spatula. Just gonna mix together the dry ingredients. So you don't need a separate bowl, but once you mix together those, I will show you how to do the wet ingredients. Okay, once you mix together dry ingredients, I took off my jacket because this part gets a little messy. So you are going to need 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and they need to be shaved with a cheese grater. And that takes a little while, so I'm probably gonna do it like in separate videos. So, and they usually have like how many tablespoons it is on the back. So this is 4. So then I'm gonna do up to there. But you don't wanna hurt your fingers, so I'm probably gonna hold on to some of it. And then, okay, I'm going to grate the cheese, and then I'll be right back. I made a very big mistake. So I forgot that I was doubling the recipe, so I put in 4 cups of flour instead of 2, but I forgot to double everything else, so I'm gonna go back and double everything else. And then I'm gonna double the butter, because now I have to double the butter too, and the milk. So I'll be right back. So if you're using like small ones like these, sometimes it's easier like at the end when you don't want to hurt your fingers and you have a little bit of a block left. Sometimes I usually just cut the rest with like a butter knife because it's butter. I just cut the rest up and put it in. So that's just a little hack. Okay, so usually after I do the butter, my hands are super oily, so I have to wash them again before I touch all the flour. So I'm gonna go do that. Okay, so the footage got deleted, I don't know how, but after you pour the butter in here, not pour it, like put it in here, you are going to get a 1.5 cups of milk. Since I'm doubling it, it would normally be just 3/4 of a cup, and then you're gonna pour a little bit in and mix it, but you don't wanna overwork the dough because then it will not be good and it'll be too flaky and too hard, not good. So I already poured a little bit in. You're just gonna pour a little bit down, kind of just fold it over itself, like this. It takes a little while for it to get super doughy. And you wanna make sure that all the flour is incorporated. I'm gonna do the rest. I kind of want to hold it here because not all of it comes out. Okay. And I usually sometimes do this with my dad, because it's a big batch of dough. So we usually split it in half, but I'm gonna do it in half again. I always forget to preheat the oven. Preheat the oven to 425 degrees. But our ovens heat up super quick, so it's fine that I didn't preheat it. Okay, I'm going to finish mixing this, and then I'm going to start it again. I forgot to tell you, before you start working the dough, not too hard, but working the dough with your hands, like picking it up and putting it on the table with flour, you want to get 2 trays and some non-stick parchment paper. I use 2 trays because one's never enough for all the biscuits. But if you do it after you pick up the dough and put it on the table with the flour, your hands get all gross and it's just not fun. So, okay. So now I'm going to pick up the batch with my hands. But I usually do it in 2 separate chunks because it's hard to do it all at once. Because it's so much and it's so thick. Oh, but it sticks to your hands, so that's a little tricky. You just gotta get in there. Okay, so, ooh, why is it doing that? It's very sticky today, as you can tell. So you just wanna kind of put it in a ball form and just kind of smush it together. There's a lot on my hands and not in the ball. So I think I'm just gonna do this much right now because the rest is not cooperating. And then you just want to put the ball on the table and squish down And you want it to get like half an inch thick. No, not half an inch, more like an inch thick. They're outside. That's Cooper.
It's really awkward.
So about like, yeah, about an inch, I think. Inch is good. And then to make it fluffy and flaky, it does both. You're going to, let me see, 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, got it to work. So you're gonna press down to like there. That's good because you're not forming it yet. And then you're going to twist it. Make sure it all stays together. And then fold. And do it like maybe 3 times. And that'll make it a little like fluffy and flakier. Because everyone needs a fluffy and flaky biscuit. So I'm gonna keep on doing this. And I'm gonna do it to the rest of them. And I will be back in a second. Okay, so I realized that I didn't show you how to cut out the biscuit shape. So I use just like a small cup, and then I press down and twist a little bit. And sometimes it comes in the cup, sometimes it doesn't, but you just have to like kind of do that a little. And sometimes if it's sticky on the bottom, I add a little flour to it. And don't worry about putting biscuits like far apart because they only rise up, they don't rise out. So don't worry about that. And I might make this a little bit thinner just so then everything bakes. And don't worry if the inside's a little like, not raw, but like wet still, because there are no eggs in it. So you're fine. And you probably saw me in the time I was using my arm. Just make sure your arm's clean because it's just kind of hard to push down. I also put a little bit of milk on my hands just to get it all to stay formed together and not kind of fly apart a little. That's actually a new thing that I do. I haven't done that before. Also, my tray's over there. That's why I keep walking over there. So tell me, I bet no one's gonna watch this video, but if anyone does, tell me in the comment section what you have been doing. Can't get this one out. There we go. Been doing to stay busy and organized during quarantine. Because I've been cleaning and baking a lot. Actually, if you want me to do an edible cookie dough video, let me know because I have made edible cookie dough and it was delish. And also don't worry about raw flour because they tell you on how to make it not raw, or not raw, how to get all the bacteria out of it if there is bacteria in it. And also don't want to freak anyone out because there's not really bacteria in any flour. It's just sometimes in some flours that are not organic or like just are little, I don't know, just some of them have a little bacteria in them. That's why you put it in the oven, not for the biscuits, but since they're going in the oven already. But for the edible cookie dough, you put the flour in the oven for 7 minutes before to, not because you don't want to burn it, so you don't want to leave it in there for too long, but you do want to get the bacteria out if bacteria is in it. So I'm going to continue to do this and I'll show you the trays once I am done. Okay, so that's a good workout for your arms and and hands. So I finished cutting out all the biscuits, but I put a lot on the tray that's over there. So I'm gonna take some of these and put them on the tray that's over there. This should be good. And I'll show you what the trays look like once done. Okay. Hands are disgusting. Not disgusting, they just look disgusting. So, but the other one, kind of looks the same. This is the other one. And then I take any of the unsalted butter that I didn't use or that like I couldn't use because my hand was too close, like this, and I melt it. And then I take this brush and like paint it on the top of them, not the bottom. And you can do the sides, but not the bottom because the bottom will burn if you do that. And then you put them in the oven for 12 minutes. So I will show you when they are done. Okay, so now for the painting butter, you're just gonna dip. You don't have to use this. You can use like a paintbrush that you've never used, or you could probably just like put a spoon in it and then just like drizzle on, I don't know. But I found this because we use this for barbecues sometimes to put barbecue sauce on. Because barbecue sauce is so good. Has to be the right barbecue sauce though. Oh, and a couple weeks ago, more like a month ago, my dad made gravy for the biscuits, and it was so good. You've no idea, it was amazing. So if you make this, make gravy, because it's so good. Okay, now I'm gonna do this tray, and then they're going in. Oh, and in case anyone was concerned, which they're probably not, I did preheat the oven a couple minutes ago. So I'm really trying not to get any of the butter on the parchment paper because then it like goes underneath and it burns the bottoms, which is not good because then no one eats the bottoms and it's a waste. But it's kind of hard not to get the drips on parchment paper, but just try your best. So these are gonna go in the oven for 12 minutes, and then you're gonna check on them, and you don't need to put the toothpick in because they don't have any eggs in them, and you'll just see from the outside they'll be kind of like fluffy. So good luck, I'll show you them once they're done. Okay. Gloves. Also, be careful when you're putting them in because 425 degrees is very hot. Okay, here we go. See you in 12 minutes. I know that I keep on saying that I'm gonna just show you them once they're done, but I just wanted to say it's a rough time right now and everyone's going through. We're all in this together, and I know everyone's saying that, but please, please, please stay home if you can. And I mean, don't live in fear. It's a scary time, it is, but fear is just gonna make it so much worse, and it's gonna make it an even more miserable time for you. So don't live in fear, but also something that would make you and your family or friends or anyone feel better is maybe just making them a card or sending them a present or a game and like leaving it on their doorstep or sending it to them in the mail. That would make everyone feel so much better. So do something like that.